My name is Mark Edel-Hunt and I'm about to play Alan Turing in the brilliant play Breaking the Code. And I'm sat here at Bletchley Park in Alan's office. When I first walked in and to the grounds and looked at the buildings, there's something really plain and unassuming and practical about it all. And then as you go inside and firstly read the stories and think about what was going on and just feel the fizz of the place, there's something really energetic and important and dramatic and big here actually. And that feels like a neat way of looking at Alan. Very plain on the outside, but actually just a lot of stuff going on in there. And when I came in here, and it's a really basic room, but I was overwhelmed. It really hit me. Just the thought of him being here doing his thing, you know. It's the privilege of being able to play someone who actually existed, I guess. And also I think I feel a bit of a responsibility because he was real, and in my own tiny little way, I'm going to resurrect him in some way. He was very direct, very singular, didn't care too much about airs and graces, and I can be that sometimes. He was gay, I'm gay, and his experience of being gay obviously is very, very different to mine, but we still live in a world that is depressingly homophobic sometimes still, and so those threads between me and him, I feel like I can find something there quite quickly. When we came here, someone who works here told us that people put letters on this desk, like messages to Alan. And that's really a lot. I read the play again actually, sat just outside the house, and the stuff about computers and the human brain, and can a machine think? Can a machine feel? The Turing test, right? And AI, which is hurtling along and coming at us. That's such an obvious parallel. And reading a play from when it was written that was about a man from before that, now it feels like words that we would be discussing every day. So all of that AI stuff I think is important. And I think as well, telling the story of a man who was punished for being gay will be important until no one gets punished for being gay. And we've got to keep telling that story, right? There's all these brilliant stories about Alan being eccentric, like it's right there. Chaining his mug to the radiator so that no one would steal it, and he had his teddy bear that he would practice talking to, and there's all these little eccentric quirks, and I think they're kind of fun details, but what's more fun about them, I think, is the sincerity with which he does these things, and I think that's going to be quite fun to play. Neil Bartlett's epilogue really underlines the implicit links between this play in Alan's life and now, and makes them explicit. And so the epilogue really underlines that and draws those parallels. There was something interesting about it being a sixth former talking about being LGBT. And it reminded me really of my own school experience. One half term, a very well-meaning but misguided housemaster sent me home with a little mini suitcase with Winston Churchill speeches in it. And he said that I should listen to those over the holidays to help me get rid of my girly voice, which to a 14, 15-year-old was not great. But in recent years, the same school, they now have a float at Pride, and they had an openly gay head boy. And I went, God, look at that, the world has shifted. And that really hummed for me in the epilogue, because this is about a sixth former talking about being openly who he is, and that's, yeah, that's kind of remarkable, yeah.